This video is intended solely for educational and documentary purposes. It contains no ideology or propaganda. Clash of Titans. This isn't just a comparison of two tanks. This is the collision of two worlds, two philosophies, and countless lives. It's 1942. The Eastern Front is ablaze. North Africa burns. But in Western Europe, there's a tense silence. A silence before the storm. The Allies are preparing for the inevitable, the invasion of Normandy. And when that moment comes, they'll face a machine that's already become a legend or a nightmare. The PZKPFW-6, the Tiger, first deployed near Leningrad. It met mud, ice, and the Red Army. Its first battles were a harsh test, mechanical failures, breakdowns, but when the Tiger held a firing position, death spread for miles. Its main weapon? An 88mm KWK-36 gun, originally designed as an anti-aircraft gun, but devastating against armor. Any armor. Meanwhile, across the Atlantic, American engineers weren't designing a wonder weapon. They were building a workhorse, the M4 Sherman. Simple, reliable, mass-produced. The philosophy was clear. Quantity is a quality of its own. Easy to repair, easy to ship, easy to drive. Designed for soldiers, not engineers. But then, when a Sherman meets a Tiger, everything changes. The numbers game. A simple fact. At 1,000 meters, the Tiger could penetrate a Sherman's armor from nearly any angle. The Sherman? To even scratch a Tiger, it had to close the distance, 400 meters, sometimes less. And it had to hit the side, or the rear. British officer James Holden described it vividly. We first saw it near Villers-Bocage, a bloody monster. One Tiger stopped an entire column. We lost 7 Shermans in 15 minutes. Why? Armor. The Tiger had up to 120 millimeters of frontal armor, high-grade, non-magnetic steel. The Sherman? Just 51 millimeters. Some jumbo variants had 75 millimeters, but those were rare. Add to that, German optics, precision Zeiss sights. Tigers could accurately engage targets at over 2 kilometers. The Sherman often fired in the general direction. And then, there was the problem of cost. A Tiger cost as much as 4 Shermans. Germany built 1 Tiger every 14 days. The US 7 Shermans per day. The battlefield reality. The Tiger dominated, if the fight was fair, one-on-one, in open fields. But in the hedgerows of Normandy, with narrow roads, thick forests, and tight village streets, the rules changed. American tank ace John Hill recalled, "We knew we couldn't face it head-on. We flanked, hit the sides, called in artillery, airstrikes. Sometimes we just overwhelmed it." Sherman crews had advantages too. Fast, easy to start, reliable radios. The Tiger? Heavy, noisy, prone to breakdowns, overheating, getting stuck, in mud. Shermans always rolled out with full supplies, fuel, ammo, spare parts, no problem. The Tiger depended on a fragile German supply chain, already collapsing by 1944. The psychological war. But the greatest weapon was fear. Seeing a Tiger could paralyze a Sherman crew. A mistake meant death. Sometimes, crews simply abandoned their tanks without firing a shot. German tank ace Otto Carius wrote, "When they heard our engines, they knew it was over. But when we heard the roar of their aircraft, we knew maybe it was over for us too." On open ground, the Tiger was king. In towns, in tight streets, or ambushed in forests. The hunter became the hunted. The Sherman wasn't just a tank, it was a cog in the vast machinery of Allied warfare. Infantry, artillery, aircraft, all worked together. German drivers feared one thing above all: the sky, the P-47 Thunderbolt, the flying tank, a pair of 500-pound bombs, and the mighty Tiger was nothing but burning wreckage. The Industrial War. Here's the brutal paradox. The Tiger ruled the battlefield, but it lost the war. Outnumbered, outproduced, outsustained. GIs had a dark joke. Our Sherman's on fire, but the factory's already building us a new one. German soldiers said bitterly, "We're not fighting soldiers, we're fighting the factories of Detroit." This was more than a battle of tanks. It was a battle of economies, and it decided the fate of the entire war. But there's something that history rarely tells. The stories of the men inside those machines, inside the steel, the fuel, the fire. Fog of war. Imagine, morning, thick fog, near Carentan, an American recon patrol spots silhouettes, huge, moving slow, then gone, vanished behind the hedgerows. Tigers, one, maybe two, hard to tell. Radios crackle, tension spikes. The Sherman Company commander gives the order, "Hold your positions, wait." Because this is the rule. If you peek out first, you die first. The Tiger could kill a Sherman from 1,200 meters. The Sherman needed to sneak within 400 meters or closer to even stand a chance. And only from the side. On open fields, the Tiger was death itself. But in the maze of Normandy hedgerows, it was a different game. Tiger crews often didn't see the threat until it was too late. Ambushes, mines, bazookas, bombs. The Tiger was tall, massive. Turning on narrow roads took forever. If it got stuck, it was doomed, a sitting duck. American infantry adopted the tank hunter tactic. Sneak close, lob grenades onto the engine deck, or call the Air Force. A P-47 Thunderbolt, a dive, a 500-pound bomb, problem solved. Not invincible. But let's be clear, when a Tiger had the right position and an experienced crew, it could destroy an entire armored column. Example, August 8, 1944, Michael Whitman's Tiger at Villers-Bocage. In 15 minutes, 11 Sherman tanks destroyed, and several APCs. The issue wasn't the tank, it was the balance. Germans built the perfect tank. Perfect for what? Wide open fields? Not for a war of attrition. The Sherman wasn't perfect, it was reliable, it was repairable, it was replaceable. The fuel problem. The Tiger weighed 57 tons. The Sherman? 30. The Tiger burned 500 liters per 100 kilometers. The Sherman? 180. Refueling a Tiger in combat? A nightmare, especially with Allied bombers overhead. Tiger needed maintenance every 100 kilometers. Sherman could go 500 kilometers before major repairs. The crew's nightmare? Starting the Tiger's diesel engine, a challenge, often stalled, especially in cold. Sherman's gasoline engine started fast, even in winter. Then there's the terrifying myth that Shermans burned like tinder. It's true, that's why Germans called it Ronson. Lights every time. Ammo stored along the hull sides. A hit, ammunition cooked off. By 1944, the U.S. added wet storage racks. Fires dropped by 75%, but the reputation stuck. The Tiger was tougher. Hits didn't always knock it out, but if the engine burned or the gearbox failed, it became an immobile bunker. Fear inside steel. James Barton, an officer of the U.S. 3rd Armored Division, wrote, "When you hear the clatter of tracks and the whine of the gearbox, you know it's a Tiger, and your heart sinks." Sherman crews learned, flank it, use smoke, call in artillery, air support. The Tiger hated moving firefights. It needed to stop to aim precisely. The Sherman could fire on the move, less accurate, but mobile. Kill ratios. For every Tiger destroyed, 5 Shermans were lost. But Shermans came back, crews survived, Allied forces held the field. A knocked-out Tiger, often abandoned, towing 57 tons? Forget it. German ace Kurt Knispel said it bluntly. We didn't fear the Sherman, we feared the Air Force. We feared running out of fuel. We feared their numbers. Machines of civilizations. The Tiger became a symbol of German engineering. The Sherman? A symbol of American industry, not just tanks, but instruments of civilizations. The Tiger was built for a world where one master outshoots 10 amateurs. The Sherman? Built for a world where 10 amateurs overwhelm the master and win. History gave its answer. But one thing remains rarely told: the stories of the men trapped between steel and fire. Life inside the tank. Inside, tanks smell the same: oil, metal, gasoline, sweat, and fear. From the outside, they look like machines. Inside, they're coffins with people. 4 men in a Sherman, 5 in a Tiger, and every one of them wakes up asking, will I survive today? The commander, the gunner, the loader, the driver, the assistant driver, or the radio operator, cramped, hot, 120 degrees in summer, freezing in winter. The Tiger? Slightly more room, thicker armor, dampened sound. The Sherman? Every shell impact rattles your bones, hits send showers of sparks. Robert Matthews, an American crewman, wrote home, when a shell hits the turret, it's like 1,000 church bells, all ringing inside your skull. Commanders in Shermans sat deep inside the turret. Tiger commanders? Higher, in a cupola, better view, but more exposure. Pop the hatch, risk a sniper or shrapnel. That's why most Sherman commanders stayed buttoned up. The Tiger had better periscopes. The Sherman? Simpler, cruder. The fire you can't escape. Every tanker's worst fear: fire. A hit, a flash, smoke, 15 seconds. Either you're out or you're dead. Fuel, oil, hydraulics, even the men themselves, burned. A July 1944 report from the 3rd Armored Division. 56% of crew casualties were from fire after penetration. The Tiger burned less often. Diesel fuel, but a direct hit to ammo, a fireball, a turret blown clean off. The smell of war. There's one thing few historians mention: the smell. Diesel, oil, gunpowder, sweat, burned metal. It soaks into your skin. It never leaves. Kurt Lemke, a Tiger driver, recalled, "You don't forget that smell. Years later, a whiff of oil and gasoline, and your body goes cold." Escape or die. The Sherman was light. Crews escaped faster. The Tiger was tall, heavy. If the hatch jammed, you didn't get out. A U.S. Army report said average escape time for a Sherman crew, 12 seconds. Tiger crew, 21. The difference between life and death. Training matters. Sherman crews trained 4 to 6 weeks. Learned to drive, shoot, support infantry. Tiger crews, 12 to 16 weeks. Complex machinery, needed to know maintenance, repairs, precision gunnery. By 1944, Germany was running out of skilled crews. New Tigers often went into battle with green recruits. A war of men. The Sherman was simple. If it broke, fix it, or wait 2 hours. A new one's coming. GIs knew, lose the tank, not the end. Survive, fight again. Tiger crews? Losing the tank was the end. No replacements. That's why they fought to the last shell. If mobility was lost, the Tiger became a bunker, a fortress of steel, until the end. And it worked, for a time. When a Tiger held the line, an entire offensive could grind to a halt for days, sometimes weeks. But history shows time wasn't on their side. Every day, Detroit built more Shermans, and fewer men remained to stop them. This wasn't a war of tanks, it was a war of men, and every one of them is still there inside the steel, inside the story.